So, has Ivanka Trump really quit politics for good? Today, we're going to try and untangle that exact mystery. We're going from the White House all the way to a private island called the Billionaire's Bunker. It is a wild story, so let's just get right into it. And hey, before we get going, if you like what you see, a quick tap on that like button really helps us out. All right, so here's the setup. After years right at the heart of global power in Washington, D.C., Ivanka Trump makes this huge, dramatic life change. It really seemed like she traded the West Wing for white, sandy beaches, swapping all that political power for a quiet life down in Florida. And for a while there, it looked like she absolutely meant it. She was out. Done. Finito. A complete and total exit from the political stage. Or so we thought. And look, she didn't just move, she retreated. We're talking about a massive $24 million estate on Florida's Indian Creek Island. This place is so exclusive, it's literally nicknamed the Billionaire's Bunker. I mean, that is the ultimate escape plan right there. So, how in the world do you go from being one of the most visible people on the planet to basically being missing in action? Let's take a look at how this all went down. And let's be clear, this wasn't just some fluffy title. From 2017 to 2021, she was a senior advisor to the President of the United States. She was leading the White House Office of Economic Initiatives and Entrepreneurship. That's a huge, high-stakes role. But then, when her father announced he was running again in 2022, she very publicly said, "Nope, I'm out." She chose her family over the campaign trail, which really set the stage for what looked like a permanent escape from the whole political circus. Which brings us to her new life. What does a day in the life on Billionaire's Bunker even look like for a former White House advisor? It's probably not what you'd expect. I mean, the contrast here is it's almost hard to believe. Her daily routine reportedly went from leading these major global initiatives to doing school drop-offs, from high-stakes policy meetings to, pickleball and surfing. You could not imagine a more jarring shift in lifestyle. Okay, but here's where the story starts to get a little complicated. The official story is one of quiet, happy domestic life. But the whispers coming from her inner circle, they suggest a very different reality. According to sources who are supposedly close to her, the big question they're all asking is she actually happy with this new, quiet life? Or is she just, incredibly bored? This is really the first crack in that perfect paradise story. Right, so a source close to her basically said that the whole "I'm doing this for family time" reason doesn't quite add up. If the kids are in school all day and her husband is traveling a lot, what exactly is she doing with all that free time? And then another friend of the family dropped this little nugget, saying that without the pressures of Washington, the focus has just shifted back to appearance. It kind of hints that while the location changed, that obsession with image and public perception, that hasn't gone anywhere. And this is where the plot really thickens. Because for someone who's supposedly pieced out of public life, she's been popping up in some very high-profile places. This is not exactly what you'd call living off the grid. So just look at this sequence of events. First, she bows out of the campaign. Then she goes on a podcast and says she hates politics. But then, just a few months later, she's at one of the biggest, flashiest society weddings of the year. And then, the real shocker. She takes on a new gig back at the White House. Oh yeah, we're talking about the wedding of Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez in Venice. You don't get a much brighter spotlight than that. This is elite-level networking, folks. But this is the real jaw-dropper. It was revealed she's working with her father again to organize the first ever UFC fight on the White House grounds. I mean, for someone who supposedly hates politics, this feels, pretty political. And very public. So this brings us right to the main event. Is this a genuine escape from a world she grew to despise? Or was it just a temporary, calculated break before a big, strategic comeback? So on one side, you've got Ivanka's own words. She went on a podcast and said this very thing, that she loves the work but hates the game, that she wants to protect her kids from the darkness of that world. It's a pretty powerful argument for the great escape theory. But then, on the other side, you have a source claiming the complete opposite, that she complains about the spotlight, but secretly, she can't get enough of it. This paints a picture of someone who just can't quit the attention. And that leaves us with the million-dollar question. For you, is she playing the long game, carefully setting up her next move, or is she really just happy playing pickleball? I mean, what do you think is going on here? Seriously, drop your theory in the comments below. We really want to know what you think is happening. And hey, if you enjoyed this little explainer, please smash that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Thanks so much for watching.